guys, it's Zach. Today, I wanted to talk about an oath mentioned in the game which has technically been in the game since release. This oath was mentioned to be coming soon and then swiftly forgotten about by the developers and community alike. I'll be talking about the Voidwalker oath and the origin of time stop magic. Before I get started, I just want to say if you like my recent videos, I'd really appreciate if you would take a second out of your day and subscribe to the channel. This series has been a huge passion project of mine, and with your support, I can explore more informative series like this one. I'm sure you remember back in the early days of Deepwoken, you'd encounter a few Knights of Ellis bounty hunters on your treks through Upper Erysia, or the boat event where you'd infamously encounter the magic time-slowing orbs. These NPCs were the only ones of their kind to perform a unique mechanic like this, and it was always speculated that one day the player would eventually be able to obtain this magic. I remember it being pretty buggy back in the day, sometimes causing your character to be permanently slowed, and you'd be forced to leave the game and rejoin after the encounter. Now, you may remember when Origins were first added to the game in August 2022, converting Deepbound from a flaw to an origin and adding Voidwalker to the game. This was incredibly exciting at the time, a completely new way to progress, with people sailing around quite a bit to try to figure out how to obtain it. Upon everything being discovered, imagine the shock on players' faces when Ellis, the punished dreamer, mentioned an oath that you could one day take with her. When asking Ellis about this oath, you'd merely get a response along the lines of that you're just a recruit to the Voidwalkers, and only the true veteran members of the organization would be trusted enough to obtain it. This raised the question in many players' minds, was it possible to one day, with enough bounties completed, be able to obtain this oath from Ellis? Well, unfortunately, 18 months after the release of the Origin, the oath is nowhere in sight. It's seemingly been a dialogue option drowned out by the major content we've received since then, including several new oaths, but never the Voidwalker oath. With this video, I hope to get people at least talking about it, and perhaps with the upcoming release of Conquest, a PvP-centric game mode, it could be time for the Voidwalker oath to finally be released into the player's hands. Now, I wanted to get into my concept of the Voidwalker oath, what I would do if I was a developer of Deepwoken. Upon obtaining 50 bounties, you would then be able to prompt the Oath quest. It could be something cool that has something to do with Ellis's backstory or the Void Mother, but upon completion, you would acquire the Chrono Hunter oath. After that, every 50 bounties you receive could be one mantra, one talent, another mantra, another talent, and finally, at 250 bounties, you would unlock the Time Stop ability. It's a steep requirement, but I believe it's completely reasonable for an ability such as Time Stop. Imagine if you were able to, similar to the Illusory Realm mantra, after a short windup, freeze time in a medium-sized radius around the player. You would then be able to synergize this with other mantras like Ice Lasers with Spring Spark or Fire Gun to release an onslaught of projectiles at your opponent that would ultimately lead them to be able to be forced to attempt to block all of these, as well as a follow-up upon the end of the mantra. Think of it like Dio's knives in JoJo's. The possibilities are quite insane, so it would have to be heavily tested before being added into the game to ensure it does not break the meta entirely. I think it would be really awesome to reintroduce the idea of Time Stop being placed into the player's hands. What do you guys think? What would your ideas be for a Voidwalker oath? I'd love to hear them in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.